Welcome, everybody. Good to have you here. We want to begin with Paula Seibineck from Ohio Means Jobs. She has some good news about continuing strength of our economy. Paula, come up. Joe, did you want to join us? Or?
All right, thank you. Okay, right now we have kind of several exciting things happening right now at the Job Center. We are accepting forward referral forms. We distributed around 1,500 of them over the past 3 days, starting on Saturday. And so now today they are due by noon today. So our office is very busy right now. But something else that we have going on today that's very exciting is we have a St. Rita's Job Fair today from 1 to 3. And they are hiring for many of their food service personnel. It's a good opportunity for someone to get their foot in the door at the hospital. In addition to that, they're looking for paramedics and an athletic trainer, certified sports medicine person as well. And so I was also going to focus in on a couple other jobs that we're highlighting this week. Didn't know if the public knew, but General Dynamics right now has several positions open. Engineer positions, facilities maintenance, skilled trades positions. So you can go on our website and search for General Dynamics, and those jobs should come up. And our agency is looking for an MIS specialist, so someone with some IT experience, computer science. And then we have several administrative assistant clerical positions. Seems like we get a lot of people wanting to work in an office setting. So we probably have right now a dozen positions right now in clerical administrative assistant, so some good opportunities. And then 2 local companies here in downtown Lima. We have CUPE and NHTSA's. NHTSA's is looking for a seamstress, and CUPE's is looking for crew members. So a lot going on right now. And we have, I looked today, we have 1,200 positions in the Lima-Allen County area. So we need workers.
Joe, any comments?
No, just wanted to emphasize we appreciate the partnerships with our local businesses, like especially with the St. Rita's coming in and Ford entrusting us to do the application process. We just finished out, like Paula said, giving out our referrals yesterday, and they're all due back in today by noon today.
And there was an emphasis for the Ford positions for veterans, correct?
Absolutely. We actually opened up Friday. We gave out the we opened up the referral process on Saturday. We paid overtime and did that due to the last time we had such a large crowd. It's difficult to operate the job center with the flow that we had, so we did that on Saturday. And the Friday before, we opened up just for vets from 1 to 3:30 on the Friday before. So we gave out applications to veterans if they showed us a DD-214 or a veterans card from Allen County.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, we just want to continue to emphasize to the community that we have truly an enormous number of opportunities available, and I think that the importance of having Paula and Joe here helps to particularize that these are with real companies, real opportunities at both the high end and the low end of technical and work experience. So we want to make sure the public continues to be aware. This is a time of the year at Christmas time when families come back home. Sharing that news with family members, college students that are returning, that there are opportunities here, and as kids are particularly looking toward graduation in the spring, that they should probably be registering at Ohio Means Jobs and becoming aware of how those systems work, becoming aware of the resources that are there. You all are open during Christmas week? Okay, so the opportunity to go in, meet the staff, understand what the resources are is very real. We want to encourage people to do that. So thank you for that. I want to ask Howard Elstro to come up, and as everybody knows, we have continued to pursue resources for the east side grade separation, basically our attitude is we're not going to take no for an answer. So today, we have a different answer.
Today we have good news, and the mayor's right. We've been chasing funds since 1999. And we've been to the track several times. We've been to looking for both federal and sources. Today what we are announcing is that we have received word from the Ohio Department of Transportation that the Transportation Review Advisory Council, known as TRAC, that is the entity that reviews projects over $10 million, and they have released their 2017-2020 major new construction program list in draft form. And of the $52 million that they have to disperse, they have earmarked or approved $4 million for the east side grade separation at the I&O crossing. ODOT has also informed us that they have approved $2.5 million from safety program funds for the upgrade of Elm, Bell Fountain, and Calumet. That is a portion of the overall project. The overall project of the both the Bell Fountain, Elm, Calumet intersection and the east side grade separation project, including planning, design, right-of-way, and construction, total $20 million. The construction phase of this is $15 million. With the announcement of this 2.5 plus the 4 million, we have just a gap of $2.9 million to find either in state or federal resources, and the construction can begin in 2018. It's important to note that the track is a draft recommendation, and it is now open to public comment. So part of our press release today is to encourage proponents of this project, and we have many, to contact James Gates at the Department of Transportation. And in our release, we have a website where one can go and voice support of this project. They will reconvene. That public comment period will be open until January 13th. They will then convene after that and release their final recommendation. So this is extremely good news for the project. Everything is lining up so that we should be able to proceed with a construction beginning in 2018. In the meantime, we do have our appraiser contractor making contacts with the various private property owners whose property will be affected by the construction of that. And that work will continue through 2017, but be completed at the end of 2017, which sets the stage for the bidding and the construction in 2018. I believe that's all I have.
This is now the third allocation of track money.
That's correct. They TRAC provide us first about $104,000 to be applied towards the planning, the design of the project. Last year we were successful with TRAC providing us $3 million for the right-of-way acquisition, and as I just mentioned, that work is underway right now through 2017. And then this $4 million is the third award that we have received from the TRAC. What was of surprise to us this year was the $2.5 million made through safety funds. That was very innovative on the Ohio Department of Transportation's and central office's solution to help us find the funding that we need from this, and we are very grateful to the support that we're getting from the ODOT office, both locally as well as in Columbus.
Terrific.
Okay, thank you.
I should remind folks that if you recall, we hosted Governor Kasich here about 4 years ago for his State of the State address at the Civic Center. And as a part of that, members of his cabinet were here, along with state legislators. We convened a number of meetings throughout the day of that address by the governor. We had them folks actually taken to a variety of places in our community. One of the meetings that we were able to get organized that day was a meeting at Lima Memorial Hospital with ODOT Director Jerry Ray. And at that time, again, because Memorial is really in the vicinity of the grade separate, or of the grade crossing at this point with the I&O, and because their emergency services and healthcare services are affected by the lack of a grade separation, it was an important place to have that meeting, to then talk with the director. And we had him for a good hour, and the discussion at that point, really, once we got into the Q&A, became very clear that he was interested, he was paying attention to the real issues, the practical issues of trying to get from the east side to the west side and vice versa when there's train traffic. And his suggestion to us at that time was prompted by his question, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So that's what we've been doing. We have been pursuing this one bit at a time, and it's clear that we're making progress, and we are really excited about the opportunity by 2018 to be ready for full construction. Now, at that point, there will be howls of pain as we tear up the east side of town, begin to affect properties there. Everybody knows what happens during construction. It becomes very inconvenient. It's a major entrance into the city. We'll have all kinds of needs to ask for cooperation and patience at that time. But right now, we're celebrating the fact that we're putting the money together for a $20 million project on the east side that will make a great difference to our community and to the really the health and safety of everybody who travels that corridor. So, thank you. Also this morning, I want to invite Susan Crotty up to talk about a number of things. There's going to, an order to this, and Warner will follow up, because there's the last topic Susan will deal with is the same four-letter word that she's going to deal with. So, Susan.
Thank you. All right. First, I want to talk about some good news that we got yesterday. Just to remind everybody about a project that has been in the works for a while now in downtown. A developer by the name of Woda Group has been working on the renovation of the former First National Bank building at 43 Town Square. And we got some great news that they were awarded state historic preservation tax credits yesterday in the amount of $2.355 million, which was a very important part of the financing of the project. This project involves taking a vacant building with historic value and renovating it for commercial use on the first floor, and on the upper floors, 47 rental residential units. That's important for the downtown, because if we bring more residents downtown, it brings a little more activity that attracts businesses and retail users, and it really adds energy and vitality to the downtown. So, we think this is an important project, but of course it is complicated too. It's a large building. It requires a lot of funding to do that type of renovation. So, it's a little bit complicated. There are several pieces to the financing of it. The state historic tax credits were a very important part of that, so we were very happy to hear that that award was made yesterday. And that will, help ensure that the project does go forward. We believe that all the other sources of financing, there are other state and federal tax credits that are being used. Those are all in place. Our next step will be to finalize our agreement between the city and the developer for the use of home funds. The city has agreed to commit $500,000 in our federal home funding toward the project. In talking with the developer, they're ready to move forward. We're going to be working on that very shortly, and they are still projecting a construction start in June of next year. So we're very happy about that, and looking forward to working with them to make it a successful project.
I might comment.
Mm-hmm.
The total pool of funds that the state had was I think, $25 million to award. So this project competed extremely well. We essentially got 10% of what was available, and I think they had something like 18 projects that they were making awards to. So we really ought to feel good about how this project is considered among all of the competing projects in the state. I think we got a great developer whose track record is important to this process. And as I've said a couple times previously, not only is the track record good on the development side, they have a business plan that calls for them to own this permanently as part of their portfolio, and that means they're going to be a part of our community for the long term. And they're not just going to renovate this property and flip it to somebody else. So they're going to make this set of investments for their own purposes, and it's good to have them in the downtown. So. Next, we want to introduce a new city staff member.
Yes, and, I'm excited about all the wonderful things happening downtown, but we also have, a lot of great neighborhoods in Lima, and there are a lot of concerned citizens who, we feel it's important to support. We want to build strong neighborhoods, and that's why the city years ago created the position of Neighborhood Specialist. It has been vacant for a few months due to retirement, but we want to introduce to you properly Autumn Swanson. She was hired and began working on November 28th in the role of Neighborhood Specialist. She is a very energetic person who has a lot of experience working with volunteers and in working to recruit people to engage in volunteer work. She has a master's degree in public administration with a nonprofit focus, and worked here in Lima over the past few years as a court-appointed special advocate director, where she managed volunteers and who advocated for children in the juvenile and probate courts. She also worked as community outreach manager for Girl Scouts of Western Ohio. So she's done a lot of good work out there with volunteers and with concerned citizens, and she's done a lot of outreach, and we're looking forward to her working with our neighborhood associations and, again, helping to build strong neighborhoods. So with that, I'd like to introduce Autumn.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Susan. That was very nice. I just wanted to say that I'm very excited. I have had a chance to be working with the city myself on the Civil Service Board, which I really, truly enjoyed my time there. And I'm super excited to have the opportunity to help build strong neighborhoods. That's one of my main things, is to be happy and have people within the city understand that they do have a voice here. So I'm very excited to have the chance and opportunity to do that, as well as I am a resident of Lima, so having strong communities will not only benefit everyone else, but it will obviously benefit me and my children. So I'm looking forward to have the opportunity to meet everyone, which I've been trying to do recently, going around talking with all the neighborhood associations, meeting with LACNet members. So hopefully, very shortly here, I'll be able to really get into the nitty-gritty of my job once I've made all of my first-time relationship building things. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing.
Very good. Thank you. And welcome, Laura. And lastly?
Lastly, I'm excited about a lot of good things, but Unfortunately, when we're in Ohio, we also have to deal sometimes this time of year with some ice, and as the mayor said, the four-letter word snow. So we did have a bit of a storm here over the, sorry, I lost my notice, but we had a storm over the weekend. And as a result, we just wanted to remind everybody, because I've already heard several cases of people slipping and falling and getting injured. So we do want to remind everybody that it is your responsibility to remove snow and ice from the sidewalks. We do have an ordinance in place that requires owners and occupants of property to, within the first 4 hours after daylight, after the snow has ceased to fall, to remove ice and snow and to use salt or sand to make sure that the sidewalks are safe. So we just want to get that reminder out to everyone. Please make sure that you're keeping the sidewalks clean for the safety of everyone, especially a lot of the businesses out there. We have the public using the sidewalks in front of your establishment, so please make sure that the sidewalks are safe.
Very good. Warner, along a similar vein?
That's a good lead. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Just like leaf collection, we have to do meter release on snow, ice. This weekend was very interesting with the ice. Kind of put me in mind of the ice storm we had a few years back. So we thought it'd be best to come out with some kind of announcement. City of Lima Public Works Department recommends the following actions to assist with snow removal. For residents' assistance, residents can assist with snow removal in several ways. Number one, and there's a reason why it's number one, because if we're going to do this, then we can't get down the streets to clean them. Please park your vehicles off the street if possible. If possible. If you have a driveway, that's where your car should be. To help expedite the snow removal, if cars must remain parked on the street, if you don't have a driveway, please park cars along one side. One thing we're noticing is we go to turn down the street and the trucks and both sides of the street are lined with cars, and there's no way possible we can get down to apply salt. As in this weekend, people were calling and complaining, but we just couldn't get down the streets to salt them, to melt the ice because of the parking. Pile shovel snow from driveways to the right of the driveway as you face the street, or pile it on your yard area. Clear the snow or ice from stormwater drain to help prevent flooding. Very important when the snow melts. When following the snow plows, if you happen to come behind one, please stay at a safe distance. This weekend we had, when the ice started falling, nothing's good on ice. So we're out trying to salt the roads and streets, and plows literally come to a stop, and just the way the road is shaped, they would just slide to the side over on the grass. So make sure you stay at a safe distance. Under no circumstance should you attempt to pass a snow plow, okay? And then lastly, keep kids or children away from the snow plows. Don't want to run it out the street. Now, we had a classification of a level 2 this weekend, and there were several people either posting on Facebook or calling our phones asking us, what did that mean? So I just want to do a friendly reminder of the 3 classifications. A county sheriff may, pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 311.07 and 311.08, declare snow emergency or temporary close the state roads and municipal streets within his or her jurisdiction when such action is reasonably necessary for preservation of public peace. Level 1, roadways are hazardous with blowing and drifting snow. Roads may be icy, and motorists are urged to drive cautiously. Level 2, which we had this weekend, roadways are hazardous with blowing and drifting snow. Roads may be very icy. Only those who feel it is necessary to drive should be out on the roads. Contact your employer to see if you should report to work. and motorists should use extreme caution. When we get to level 3, that means that all roadways are closed to non-emergency personnel. That's police and ambulance and fire personnel. No one should be driving during these conditions unless it is absolutely necessary to travel or a personal emergency exists. All employees should contact their employer to see if they should report to work, and those traveling on the roads may be subject to arrest. If they tell you to stay off the roads, it means stay off the road. So this past weekend we had a level 2. Folks were out in our way, quite honestly, but folks need to get back and forth to wherever they needed to go. But if you don't have to go out when they suggest require level 2, then please help us so we can make the road safe for you and stay home until we get them cleared. Okay? Thanks, Mayor.
You know, Warner's first point about folks not parking on the road requires some planning and thought. As he said, if you normally park on the road, then you need to be giving some thought to what your alternatives are. And we really want to encourage people to seek alternatives, because there simply isn't any way to get those big trucks down many of our streets when we got people parked on both sides. This requires doing some planning. So we want to encourage people to do that when we don't have the actual snow conditions. Thinking seriously about alternatives is really an important matter to give some thought to. So I believe that's all that we have for this morning, and we'll break down for individual interviews. Thank you very much.